I'm Jasmine Lawson.
And I'm Tommy Vance.
And welcome to Dumber and Dumber. Coming up tonight on Dumber and Dumber, how did they survive that special with a skateboard supernova, a flaming drag star in a dragster, and possibly the most reckless bit of driving ever. The world was once filled with daredevil aces who were willing to risk their lives to help preserve their country's liberty. But we're about to witness acts of unspeakable madness caught on camera that prove when you give some people their freedom, they treat it with all the respect of a pig in a truffle factory.
Hey, how do you start this thing?
Another graveyard shift at the Big K, and Big Frank is big bored. It's mind-numbing work, and he's only got 400 Hershey bars and the late edition of Jerry Springer for company. Suddenly, the shop bell jingles, and in walks a giant condom. Frank is shocked, then baffled as he realises exactly what this Charlie is wearing.
He was wearing a clear plastic garbage bag. Didn't even empty the garbage out of it, man. He was covered with garbage and dirt. I just thought somebody was playing a joke.
The rubbish robber proceeds to loot the till. He's unarmed, but he's walking compost, so Frank wisely leaves him to it. Better go out for some air, sunshine. It must honk in there. The little loony bashes the till open and swipes 30 notes. But our hero is waiting for him. With one hand over his nose, Frank lunges for the sack.
I was never afraid of him, so he was wearing a real simple pair of shorts. There's no place for a gun.
The trash bandit got away, but he didn't get the chance to spend his money. Since the bag was see-through, the cops had no trouble identifying him.
It is crazy, but once we apprehended this guy and learned the full story, he's a crack addict. He's using crack cocaine, and he's just trying to supply his habit. And the only way he's able to do that is to steal.
And brave, stout Frank?
Know how to take care of myself. He looked more afraid of me than I was of him. There's an entire TV show down here based on stupid criminals, and this is one of the worst I've seen.
Welcome to the world of dragster racing. This is always my favorite part of the program. Massive cars, burning high-octane fuel. I love them. They can reach speeds of 300 miles per hour. They're brilliant. These engines are huge. Wow! Look at the size of that. This is the final qualifying round of the National Hot Rod Association AutoZone Nationals. This hot rod is Terry Haddock. He's just filled his 7,000 horsepower dragster with 70 gallons of rocket fuel. Almost as soon as Terry takes off, the crowd notice something fishy. And as he reaches 260 miles an hour, his engine ignites and he goes woof! Terry can't breathe through these toxic fumes. If he stays in there much longer, he's going to end up as smoked haddock.
There was only a split second where I had to tell myself to stay calm, or you could die, but you really don't have time when you're focused on doing a job, and at that time the job was getting stopped and getting out safe.
But, like James Bond in Goldfinger, Tell's got an ejector seat, and he pops up into comparative safety. Tell spent only 50 seconds in the burning dragster, but it felt like an eternity, almost like slow motion. Hang on, it is slow motion. Right, Terry, tell us everything. What happened out there?
You don't realize you're hurt and you don't realize nothing. I'm trying to take my helmet off and my hands don't work. They finally got the helmet off and I just wanted to be left alone so I could catch my breath. And then some of the safety people were trying to pull my fire jacket off of me. and I kept telling him to stop. Then it started to hurt, and then I looked down at my hands and you see skin hanging there. It's like, oh, this ain't good. Everything seemed okay. Staged the car, stepped on the gas. It went out a couple 100 foot and it shook, so I pedaled it. Then it just started running really good, and in about half track, it just blew up. No warning, no signs, no nothing. Just all of a sudden blew up. By this point, there's so much fire that it's boiled the brake fluid out of the brake lines. Stopping at 260 miles an hour when you're on fire isn't as easy as you might think it is.
Terry has now put this suicidal sport behind him and taken up bowls. Has he, hell? Once he'd recovered from a skin full of second-degree burns, the daft Hayputh was back in the driving seat, raring to go. And the winner is, well, for damn sure, it ain't common sense. These pubescent punks are riddled with hormones, and when everything gets too much, they go out and bash their boards. So the Tampa Skateboarding Pro Tournament provides the perfect release. Harmless teenage fun with an emphasis on safety. And the loop of death. Oh, I wish I was 17 again. First, they practice on what looks like a bouncy castle. Wow, look at that! I want to go! Apparently, if you make it round the whole way, they give you $1,000. Aye, here's Jake Brown. He's crossing himself. As well he might, because he's wholly rubbish. But the crowd aren't content with a pillowed flop down. They want to see the real deal. So the girly padding is removed, and these skate dudes get serious. Well done, Al, but don't go mad. Put the padding back now, lads, before someone gets hurt. Uh-oh, what did I say? Hey, don't do it! Didn't you see the last guy? Oh, sorry, well done. Shine a light, not Jake again, surely. Right, I'm washing my hands of this. They pays their money? Yeah, brilliant. What's it gonna take, Jake? Oh, well done, mate. You have cracked it. At last, the moment of truth. This is Brian Schaefer, the loop's designer. Took him ages, apparently, because he kept going round in circles. But anyway, he's a professional. Uh-oh, he miscalculated. But remarkably, he only suffered a broken hand and concussion. I blame the parents. I really do.
I never disrespected the people at home.
Baseball, silly boys rounders. But for these dweeby New Yorkers, it's a way of life. And they're on a tour of America's major league stadiums. While one of them gets to first base with Kiosk Girl, his mate is distracted by something a bit more interesting than ball sports.
I expected to be close.
That plane is well out of bounds. Or is that cricket? I don't know, I'm a girl. The pilot struggles to control the plane, and then this happens. You can't tell me this isn't more interesting than the World Series.
Oh my God.
Fearing the worst, the lads are relieved to discover that the pilot and his passenger are uninjured. The same can't be said of their advertising banner. Well flown? If not, call 0800 Daft Pilot.
Oh my God.
It was dumped over the city when the plane's engine started playing up.
Yeah, I didn't hit the freeway, did I? Hey guys, I'm gonna have everybody get back.
So that all turned out for the best, didn't it? There we were, expecting to see men in pyjamas run around a field for 90 minutes, and we got a plane crash. I love my job. This rather impressive-looking aircraft is the Meteorjet. Developed just after the Second World War, it was one of the first planes to break the sound barrier. But the next dingbat we're about to see broke the sound-mind barrier when he went past Mach 2 on the mental scale.
They've got the helicopter on him. Ugh. Oh boy.
Tonight's candidate for world's worst driver is this fool. He's mashed up on mind-fogging drugs, and he's playing chicken in a stolen car.
This is gonna get hairy now, because now we've got traffic to deal with. There is a car coming now. Hopefully he'll get out of the way.
And brace yourself, cause there's more. It seems that theft, PCP and manic motoring aren't enough for this wazzock. Earlier today, he attacked his best mate, Paul Leverett.
Out of nowhere, he just starts hitting me with the hammer. And he slashed me in the right wrist with a knife. I did think that he was going to try to kill me.
A passerby saw bloody buddy Paul staggering out of his house and gave the cops their early morning loon alert.
I got an emergency. There's a guy got hit with a hammer. He's bleeding like crazy here. He's bleeding all over my car. He's about to pass out.
With the Miami police in hot pursuit and a roadblock dead ahead, surely this must be the end of the line. But as the Rozzers close in, he does the unthinkable. He turns around and goes the other way.
Unfortunately now we've got traffic lights and crossing traffic and pedestrians also walking around. It's unknown, totally.
Traffic lights? Pedestrians? They're not gonna stop him. What happened to the fuzz? Well, thank heavens for vigilantes, that's all I can say. Because just as Crack Harry thinks he's made it, a local redneck seizes his window of opportunity and throws a brick through it. Ready, aim, bullseye! A breeze block through the driver's window. It shatters the glass and the dopey felon's confidence. So what does he do? He freaks out and calls the cops.
They're gonna hurt. No, they're not gonna hurt you. Can you please stop the car? They're not gonna hurt me. They're gonna hurt me. But you're not doing any better by running away. Oh, they're gonna hurt me. No, they're not. You're gonna hurt other people by doing what you're doing. They're gonna hurt me. Hello?
Stop whinging, you twerp. You sound like a punch-drunk Scooby-Doo.
They're on the phone with me. Hello? Hello?
911, try to reason with him. Reason? Fat chance, guys. This man's on drugs.
Losing it now. He is not going to be able to control that car soon. He's going to be on total rims. And even those rims will wear out.
Yep, he's blown his tires out. And at last, he decides to pull over and give himself up. But in a final act of madness, he somehow manages to run himself over. Ouch! Scramble legs! That's gonna need more than a Band-Aid.
I don't think he's able to stand on that leg that he ran himself over with. He's very much in pain.
I had spent time with him, tried to help him, and this is what he does to me in return. Were drugs that much more important?
Yes, Paul, do you have to ask? But after this mauling, your mate knows his number's up on rollover week.
Coming up in part 2, motorcycle hell nearly turns these bikers into angels. And you never see this on Ski Sunday. Welcome back to Dumber and Dumber. Before the break, we were bombarded by a barrage of lunacy caught on camera, and the worst is yet to come. This is the Tornado fighter plane, a prime example of quite awesome firepower, and we're about to see another. You're about to witness some street justice, Russian style. The woman in the car, Svetlana, has diddled the man in the rabbit hat, Vladimir, out of a few measly rubles in a black market exchange. He's one angry Cossack. Fortunately, her brave but reckless cohort, a wild-haired Bolshevik we'll call Alexander, jumps to her aid, a decision he's about to regret. As they tussle, the gun accidentally goes off. Normally, a blast like that would have blown Alex's leg off, but this time he's lucky and only receives a flesh wound. Vlad carries the sawn-off musket to scare his customers and loads it with blanks. All mouth and no trousers. Surely now he's gonna leg it. No. This is Russia. The rules of common sense don't apply. Smoking gun in hand, Vlad goes off in search of a policeman. Surely niet. For a moment, he's forgotten that he's a ruthless vigilante profiteer and tells the police that he's the victim of fraud. As the courageous Alex waits for an ambulance, Vlad continues to prattle like a simpleton. But the police are getting wise to this gun-toting Red. Alex is carried off to the hospital to have his bumps felt, while the police drag Vlad away to the nearest dungeon. They won't charge him though. With his flair for firearms, they'll probably give him a job.
Crash! Bang! Wallop! What a picture! Welcome to Dumber and Dumber's Alternative Ski Sunday. This is extreme skiing, and it's for crazy people. These alpine asses don't seem to realize that if you play with snow, you're gonna get burnt. And talking of asses, nice tush. The sport, if you can call it that, takes regular Swiss skiing to its illogical extreme, hence the name. Here's one of the more lethal stunts, the vertical ramp. You ski up one side, fly for a bit, and then crash into the deck. Slam dunk da funk. And it's all ruddy dangerous. The guys claim they do it for the buzz. I think they do it to look all tough and cool in front of the birds. Well, it won't work, guys. Women want more than that. They want me. Ricardo Sullivan likes to pop wheelies. That's him there, popping one, before he and his buddies bike around the canyon roads of LA. Orlando Pablo, Ricardo's best mate, is in front. Together they're going to ride out of Oaksville and drive into the town of Mayhem at improbable and lunatic speeds. As the boys stop at the side of the road for a comfort break, the poo hits the fan. Scary Mary! Orlando's been hit! Like a bat out of hell, one of the riders loses control. He was traveling too fast, and to make matters worse, he didn't slow down.
Hey, you need help! Somebody go back! Somebody go back, go get an ambulance, how bad?
I was panicking because I didn't know if he was dead or alive.
Amazingly, no one else is hurt. Orlando took the full force of the impact. This doesn't look good.
Yeah, okay, loosen it. Don't move it.
Take it off. Hold his head.
Hold his head.
I was worried about taking off his helmet because I didn't know if he sustained a broken neck.
But the biking Lazarus surprises everyone.
It's nothing major and just a couple of scratches. Don't worry about it.
The police ask him a few simple questions to check out his brain for damage. What is the gross national product of Poland? What is dialectical materialism? And does plastic come from sheep? Orlando passes with flying colors, but they fly him off to Hossie just to be on the safe side.
To this day, I really don't think I did too much bodily damage, except for maybe losing a couple brain cells after the impact with the ground.
The loss of these brain cells will surely leave Orlando with negative equity. And now he's not such an easy rider.
I had no control of what was going to happen. I do still do my share of extreme riding on the streets, but not to the extent that I used to.
And finally, we're piling on the agony with Pylon Watch. Next up, a pussy in distress. First there was a boy named Sue, and now a cat named Frog who stuck up a pylon. Esther Stevenson's 4-month-old Moggy climbed this electrical post in a blizzard and got stranded for 3 days. No one knows why she did it. Perhaps she wanted to see what was up there. But we all know what curiosity does to cats.
I told the fire department I'd climb up there and then they could come back down and just rescue me.
Oh, shut up. Frog is remarkably still, but that might be because she's frozen to the bar. I don't think she is, though. Don't write in. After 72 sub-zero hours, the cat cavalry finally arrives. Now comes the tricky bit. Closer, closer, and poke it off with a broom handle. Well done, that man. Textbook. Again, don't worry, Frog is fine after her undignified descent. It looked cruel, but our gallant rescuer had his reasons.
I pushed him off of there. That's 13,000 volts up there, and that's why I couldn't let him touch. He survived.
Hopefully, this Froggy won't go a courting disaster again. And now, the human face of pylon problems. This woman's in trouble. She's scaling the rungs of an electric tower and she's suffering from what scientists call a sleeping disorder. But this monster ain't no futon, and if she falls asleep here, she might never wake up. Oh heck, she's passed out. Somebody call the Wide Awake Club. This dozing bird needs help. The firemen climb up to rescue her. The poor woman's body is very delicately balanced and they need to take extreme care not to wake her with a start. But she's clearly spark out. The worst part of it is that she snoozes through the rescue. 2 burly firemen and a cherry picker, I wouldn't want to miss that. Our sleeping beauty is stretchered away to hospital where she'll be treated for her condition. So don't worry and don't have nightmares. As we've seen tonight, all around us a war is raging between right-minded men and wrong-minded morons.
Every now and again, that moron gets a whiff of victory.
Do you know which side you're on? I do. Good night.
Good night. On next week's show, insanity goes on the offensive. Police pursue several unemployed escapee chefs from Jamie Oliver's new restaurant, and this French bloke starts taking liberties.
Dumb and Dumber is back next Sunday night at 8:30 here on 5. Here next tonight, it's our action movie. More details on that in just moments. And then at 11:05, live coverage of the Super Bowl. Only here on 5.